Arman had always considered himself a devoted husband and father. He worked long hours to provide for his family, but he never let his career overshadow his responsibilities at home. His wife, Sana, was beautiful, charming, and always surrounded by attention. Though Arman trusted her, he sometimes noticed the way her phone was glued to her hand or how she often made vague excuses for late-night outings with her friends. For months, Arman ignored the growing pit in his stomach. He wanted to believe that Sana would never betray him. But one evening, his world began to unravel. Arman had stayed homesick from work. While resting on the couch, Sana's phone buzzed on the table. She had left it behind in her rush to meet a friend for coffee. Normally, Arman respected her privacy, but something urged him to check. When he unlocked the phone using her birthday, his worst fears came alive. There were dozens of messages, romantic, explicit, and shamelessly intimate, between Sana and a man named Adil. Even photos, selfies at restaurants, and hotel receipts were saved in her gallery. Arman felt sick. His hands trembled as he scrolled through months of betrayal. He didn't confront her immediately. Instead, Arman copied everything, messages, pictures, call logs, onto a secure drive. He knew emotions could make him reckless, and if he wanted justice, he needed to stay calm. That night, Sana returned home smiling, pretending as though nothing was wrong. Arman hugged her as usual, but inside, his heart was already cold. Days later, when Sana left for another coffee date, Arman followed. He watched from his car as she entered a hotel with Adil. His blood boiled, but instead of storming inside, he quietly recorded everything: time, date, location. He now had undeniable evidence, but Arman's revenge wasn't going to be loud or violent. It was going to be devastatingly calculated. The first step was social exposure. Arman created a private group online and added close friends, relatives, and even Sana's parents. He uploaded screenshots, videos, and photos, every shred of proof he had. He didn't write any hateful words. He simply captioned the album, "The Truth I Never Wanted to Share." But this is who Sana has chosen to become. The reaction was explosive. Within hours, whispers spread like wildfire. Relatives called Arman in disbelief, friends were stunned, and Sana's parents were shattered. Sana herself returned home that night to find her phone buzzing with furious messages. She screamed at Arman, demanding why he had humiliated her. "You humiliated yourself," Arman said calmly. "I just showed them the truth." Sana broke down, begging for forgiveness, promising it was a mistake. But Arman was done. He had one focus now: his daughter, Alina. He knew Sana's reckless behavior wasn't just betrayal to him, but a danger to their child. So he filed for divorce and full custody. In court, Sana tried to paint Arman as controlling and cold. She claimed her affair was just loneliness and insisted she was still a good mother. But Arman was prepared. He presented every piece of evidence: screenshots, photos, videos, even testimony from people who had seen Sana with Adil. The judge reviewed everything in silence. When Arman's lawyer argued that a mother who spent nights in hotels with her lover, instead of caring for her child, could not be considered responsible, the courtroom atmosphere shifted heavily in Arman's favor. Sana's lawyer tried to argue back, but the evidence was too overwhelming. Her credibility was shattered. Finally, the judge delivered the verdict. Arman would have full custody of Alina. Sana could only have supervised visitation until she proved herself capable of prioritizing her daughter's welfare. For Arman, the moment was bittersweet. He hadn't wanted his marriage to end this way, but protecting Alina came first. Sana wept in court, realizing the cost of her actions. She hadn't just lost her husband, she had lost the chance to raise her daughter freely. In the weeks that followed, Arman rebuilt his life. Friends and relatives rallied around him, praising his composure and intelligence in handling the betrayal. Instead of violence or chaos, he had used truth and patience as his weapons. Sana, on the other hand, was left isolated. Her reputation was in ruins, her parents refused to defend her, and Adil disappeared as soon as the scandal went public. The man she had sacrificed her family for abandoned her when things turned ugly. One evening, as Arman tucked little Alina into bed, she looked up at him and asked, "Daddy, will Mommy ever come back home?" Arman kissed her forehead gently. "Mommy made mistakes, sweetheart. But Daddy will always be here. I promise." In that quiet moment, he realized his revenge hadn't just been about exposing Sana, it had been about securing a future where his daughter would grow up safe, loved and unscarred by her mother's betrayal. And that was a victory no one could ever take from him.